following is a production of Dirty Mo Media. Hey everybody, it's Dale Jr. back again for another episode of the Dale Jr. Download with my good friend and co-host, TJ Majors. How's it going, TJ?
It's going good.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm all right. I was all right. I was sick last week, but I got over. I just had a head cold for about 5 days, but got over it. Went to the Keys for a couple nights.
Good times down there.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's different these days. You know, I had a house down there for 10 years. Then we renovated another house, and so we spent a lot of time down there. But when we had kids, we were thinking, all right, we need to find another place for our vacation spot that's a little easier to get to, for one, but also maybe a little more kid friendly. So we only kind of go to the Keys once a year. But man, it's a fun time. Key West
is fun.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah.
We send a lot of people down there. A lot of people ask us all the time because we spent so much time down there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people go down to the Keys and want to know what some of our favorite spots are. But
There's some really good spots.
How many oysters did you have?
I had a dozen.
That's it?
Yeah, we did have some buffalo shrimp at the Raw Bar. Every time I go, like the first thing I need to do is go to the Raw Bar for buffalo shrimp, and that kind of starts the day. And Schooners for some beers. Schooners is great. They have a nacho or
The taco
tuna.
place is good.
They have a tuna nacho at Schooners. That's insane. And good staff, good personable experience. The Amigos is what you're talking about.
Amigos, yeah.
I
You
had
can
a
sit there, people watch.
Yep, I sat there and had a margarita.
Margarito.
Did you have any hot salsa this time?
Nope.
Okay.
I just had the marg. And Hank's and Captain Tony's. I had a Flying Monkey drink. Hadn't had one of them in a long time.
Whoa.
Yeah. I don't. That's a place where you go and they have all the flavors. And it's in the machines that are swirling. And I don't usually drink frozen drinks. And I can't tell you the last time I had one of those. It's been over 10 years.
What'd you pick? You remember?
It's kind of like a chocolate vanilla swirl thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you get the thing in the middle?
The shot?
Yeah.
No, I didn't do that.
I like the grape 8.
Yeah. Yeah. It was it's a good trip. We got some I said that it's not necessarily kid friendly, but I will say this, there are things to do with your kids. The Butterfly Museum is incredible. So if you have kids and you go to the Keys, the best thing to do, I think, there's all kinds of options, but the Butterfly Museum is neat because butterflies, that's stuff that I never knew, right? Butterflies only live for a few days. And, of course, they import a lot of these butterflies into this greenhouse that's in the back. You go in the front, it's a huge gift shop. And we went and got the girls some things to take back to them as gifts. And if you walk into the back, immediately you'll walk into the greenhouse. And typically, Key West is really hot. It's like 85, 90 degrees down there, warm. Well, that greenhouse is really nice and cool. It's just kind of a break from the heat. But there's thousands and thousands and thousands of butterflies flying around in this greenhouse, and they land on you. They land on your hat, your arm, your hand, your shoulder, all over you. And they land all over the girls, right? They land on them. They're big, blue, beautiful, all these colors. And so if you want to be the hero to your little girl or your son or what have you, that's a pretty magical experience because I don't know anywhere else they'll go where that will be what happens. So butterflies don't typically land on you.
Please tell me there's a picture of you with butterflies landing on you.
I'm sure there's one out there somewhere.
I hope so.
I mean, we didn't go in the greenhouse.
Didn't go out there?
No, but I'll take. If I take the girls, that's what we're doing.
You're going.
Yeah, they love it.
Mr. C still open?
Mr. Z's.
Z's, yeah, my bad.
Mr. Z's Pizza.
Iconic picture of me taken there at one time.
Yeah, one of my favorite pictures of TJ was taken at Mr. Z's about 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Him devouring a slice of pizza, and he looks as bad as
You can imagine, yeah.
And he's in bad
The
shape.
General was hurting.
Yeah. Mr. Z's. That's, some of the best pizza. So good.
It was that night.
My second favorite pizza place in the world, next to Pie in the Sky here in Mooresville. Mr. Z's. Actually, years and years ago, seemed like 5-6 years ago, Dave Portnoy went over to Mr. Z's and did a
Review
because I was.
That's right. What did he rate it? I don't remember. Do you?
I was texting with him, and I was like, I was like, you're in the Keys? He's like, yeah. I was like, you got to go to Mr. Z's. He's like, hey, all right. He's like, we'll do it, but it's gonna be late because he had some plan. He ended up going over there and doing his review at like 2-3 in the morning after a long day in the Keys.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think he gave it a good review. We got quite the race this weekend.
Got what we wanted again.
Did we?
Did we?
It sounds like some people didn't get what they wanted. Just a little short on that victory lane celebration there.
Yeah. A little short.
Yeah. Brad Keselowski come in second with a spirited run to the finish, trying to get the win. I was pretty happy to see the contact. You know how physical the race was.
It was definitely a physical race.
Yeah. So first off, before we go any further, I want to let y'all know that this week's Dirty Air segment is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops, North America's premier outdoor and conservation company. Plan your next adventure at a Bass Pro Shops near you or online at basspro.com. It's a great place to go shopping. The Bass Pro Shops car almost pulled one out for the win. They were leading the race there for a while with Chase Briscoe. But there's been this really long, sort of debate conversation around Bristol and how to, man, I miss this Bristol. I miss that Bristol. and this is what I want out of Bristol. And this is what I wish Bristol was like. And it seems like that this weekend we kind of got as close as we've been in a long time to the traditional idea of Bristol and the product that Bristol had delivered at its peak. And that's not a nostalgia quote. This isn't about nostalgia. Basically, back in a certain time frame, the ticket for Bristol was by far the hottest ticket on the circuit, and it was almost difficult to get an opportunity to get that ticket. There was a waiting list and all of that stuff. So it's changed quite a bit since then. It's no longer selling out, and they've had to and it's no secret, or everybody listening to this show ought to probably know most of the history of how the track changed. It was asphalt for years. The track's actually been configured multiple times. When they first built Bristol back in the early or late 60s, it was much flatter. And you can see some old races on YouTube or maybe on NASCAR's website where Bristol used to be quite a bit flatter, and they eventually, after only about 3 or 4 years, they came in and then built the track, the banking up, because cars were running all over the racetrack. You had guys running on the apron, there was 30 foot of apron before you got to the bank.
Use it, huh?
Part of the racetrack. Yeah, guys were everywhere, all over the place. It was just the strangest looking track. And after several years, they did the same thing at Rockingham. When they first built Rockingham, it was flat. And they did this, and this was all right around the same time frame, uniquely or coincidentally, when they built Bristol and Rockingham. They built them within years of each other, and they built them both flat, and then within 4 or 5 years, they reconfigured them to have more banking, both the same track. So they reconfigured it then. Then, we had this asphalt version that was highly popular, and we went into around the mid-'90s. They had resurfaced the racetrack. So I imagine paving technology wasn't very good back in those days, TJ.
Well, it was probably good for the time.
Yeah, but you're running 16-second laps around the racetrack, and I suppose when we went maybe it was warm on Thursday, Friday when we had practice for the Busch Series and the Grand National Series, which is the Cup Series back then. And the track began to come apart in practice. And all through the weekend, they had a lot of problems with the track coming apart. And
track coming apart's not good.
Yeah. And so I believe, Bruton, having looked at what Dover did, decided, well, we're going to fix that. And they concrete the racetrack.
Was that the second ever concrete track?
I believe it was. Well, second concrete track in NASCAR's history, unless you count.
So Dover was the blueprint, probably.
Well, unless you count. I would say Martinsville and the interior bottom groove of Martinsville Speedway and how they concreted it as well was also probably an influence on Bruton's decision to concrete Bristol, because
it didn't give up.
They had the same problem at Martinsville. It was all asphalt. The asphalt started coming apart, and then so they decided to concrete the bottom groove and a half of Martinsville, and that's why you have that concrete there today, is because of the track coming apart back when it was asphalt.
And you don't want that
on one particular weekend. Yeah, so they're like, all right, we'll fix it. We'll fix this. Won't have this problem. And I will say that version, that concrete version, the initial concrete version of Bristol, was still very similar, and the racing looked quite similar to what we saw with the asphalt racetrack. You can go back though and look at some of the asphalt races at Bristol, and man, they ran way up the track. The groove would move around in the corners. It wasn't all on the bottom.
What made the groove move around in that time? Was it the tire? Was it?
I mean, who knows? I mean, I would be guessing if I was trying to tell you what made the groove move around back then, because I thought I knew a lot about things till this
last couple weeks
with this tire and this car and all that. Yeah. So anyways, like, I want to say that a lot of people talk about Bristol as the best. Bristol is a bottom groove beaten bank. Well, back when it was asphalt, they ran all over the corner. There was races where they'd run the top of 1 and 2 or the bottom of 1 and 2, depending on the temperature, the day, the tire, whatever, right? So, I mean, they moved all over this racetrack. When they concreted it the first time, that's when it truly became a bottom-only racetrack. There was no second or third groove ever at those races with the first rendition of concrete. And there was this funky little sort of dip off of turn 2 where you kind of had to hook the old concrete or the old asphalt
with the left
apron.
Front.
Yes. And It was so much fun, and you had to hit this little spot every time, and there was, it was a fun little racetrack. And I don't, I'd have to, to go back and relive all of that, but for some reason, they wanted to reconfigure it again, and they put the variable banking in there. And that's what we have today. And I half joke about them, man, they should pave it with asphalt. I truly would do it if I had all the money if I could afford to pay for them to pave it asphalt, I would do it. If you could just snap your fingers and have it. But honestly, the variable banking has kind of went through these good and bad times. I remember one of the first races that we ran on the variable banking version of Bristol we have today. We were in the COT, middle way through the race. I ended up running 5th in this race, but middle way through the race, Casey Kane's leading. Carl Edwards is 2nd, and I'm 3rd. And we're all within 10 car lengths of each other or closer, battling for the lead. And everyone was running on a different part of the racetrack. And I was thinking in that moment, and I'll never forget it, I thought in that moment, I was like, this is badass. Like, I didn't think that.
How does it get any better?
Yeah. Like, he's on the bottom, he's in the middle, I'm on the top. We're all racing the shit out of each other. I mean, I don't know what more you could want. Yeah. This is pretty cool. And what ended up happening though is we, that's what happens anytime we like introduce something completely new. It looks amazing the very first time we try it, whether it's a car, a track, or what have you, because no one knows how to work it, how to use it. Where's the advantages? Well, we all learned eventually how to run the top of this racetrack, and that's where the steepest banking was. And so that's where a lot of the racing started to go, and it was impossible to pass. Everybody would go run the top, and boy, you try to go to the inside of somebody, and you couldn't. You get trained by all the people on the outside line.
Couldn't run fast enough down there.
So Bruton ground the top groove to try to make it where it was unusable. Well, that made it actually better. The rubber would stick to it even better, and we ran the top even more. And so I remember all these little moments where they were trying to figure out a way to get us to the bottom of the racetrack. And eventually, they found the PJ1. And PJ1, I believe, if you live this, PJ1 ended up coming to Bristol as we were trying to get, the old school Bristol, run the bottom, run over each other, beat and bang Bristol that we had this weekend. And then PJ1 comes in, and we're, oh man, that seems to be nice. Well, now let's take PJ1 everywhere. So we had to
Pocono third corner. Remember that?
Yeah.
The lane up there.
Well, that was brand new asphalt.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a grip strip. But I mean, unfortunately, this big PJ1 craze happened where we were throwing PJ1 everywhere on all the racetracks, and that was because of Bristol.
It was tricky stuff too.
It was. But then, and I got in Marcus's ear, and I told Marcus, I said, all right, everybody wants this particular type of Bristol, right? And if you want to know how to get it, I'll tell you. And so I told him, I said, go back and watch the 2004 race at Bristol. That's the one that I was fortunate enough to win. And there's anywhere around that time frame, 02, 03, 04, 05. And if you just look at still images of cars in the corners at Bristol, and there's something you'll recognize. So you still had the asphalt apron, and they sealed it. They would they would put sealer down on that apron, and it looked good. They paint their logos and all over it. And the actual line, there's always this yellow or white painted line on the bottom of these racetracks to separate and differentiate the apron from the racetrack. Well, the line at Bristol is actually, around 2004, was painted on top of the banking of the racetrack, almost a foot up from the real true seam between the concrete and the asphalt. And they would seal all the way up to that line. Mm-hmm. So what you had was about a foot of sealer, asphalt sealer, on top of this concrete
grip
for the left front tire. Mm-hmm. And man, if you were smart enough to be patient enough to connect the left front tire to that sealer, the entire corner, there was a ton of grip and a ton of turn there. And so when your car's great, that's what you try to do. And I told him, I said, man, if they were putting that PJ1 the entire bottom width of the car, like a full car length of PJ1, it's too much. I was like, all you need is to really like saturate the bottom 1.5 feet, 2 foot, 3 foot of the corners with this PJ1. All you need is for the guy on the bottom groove to be able to use it and get his left side tires in it. And so that's what they started doing. They narrowed up this application of PJ1.
It's probably half a car length now.
Yeah, so that you can only get the left side tires in it. If I were them, I would even make it more narrow.
Smaller,
It doesn't need to be but only the width of the tire itself. And so
make it harder to run.
I know. So you would have to be so perfect to be able to put the tire in it.
It was hard to run that one.
And if you missed it, right, you saw what happened to guys that came out of it. Oh, man, they checked up. You got your ass run over. Yeah. Or like in the 20s case, he misses it on the last lap, and you guys ran right up to him.
Yeah, he missed it bad.
Right. And so make that even more narrow, and you have that opportunity for guys to miss it even more so.
Give even more passers and
more passers,
action.
More checking up, bumping, and banging. So anyhow, that's kind of where we are. We're almost all the way back. It's probably as close as we're ever going to be to the Bristol that a lot of people love. Only way I think we can get even better is, I'd narrow that application of PJ1 up to about 50% of the width it is today.
Take another foot or so off of it?
Yeah.
Maybe a couple.
That's it. Outside of that, I mean, only other thing you could do is tear the track up and get rid of the variable banking entirely. But that's not happening. That's an unnecessary expense that they probably can't justify, especially after watching the race they saw this past weekend. So
all four races were actually pretty good. The truck race actually moved up. You had guys that could run the top, guys that could run the bottom, and competitively too.
Honestly, that's such a great point, TJ. No matter what version of Bristol you love, you got that version in one of the three events.
So all series got what you wanted.
No matter what version of Bristol you like, I think you got it in one of the three events. The other thing too, TJ, is I don't know why, but I was there for the Xfinity race all day, and I knew that they had ran the truck race the night before. You had the ARCA race. Mm-hmm. It felt like the kind of weekend that people need to justify pulling their camper out there, getting a camping spot, spending 3 or 4 days, putting all that out and having a fun, grilling, hanging out, concerts, doing all the things. Like what Bristol provided this weekend is almost, in my opinion, what we used to do. When we had more on-track action, such as practices and so forth. It is the blueprint, in my opinion, of the weekend that a NASCAR fan wants.
Yeah, the events you can see.
Yeah.
We got another one this weekend that's similar to it.
Really?
Well, we got the
New
trucks
Hampshire?
and cup cars. You also get a couple modified race, or a modified race too, which is always a good compliment to the weekend.
Yeah. That, to me, is what a lot of these other tracks could work on. Like if you're a fan, you're like, all right, I'm buying this ticket, I'm spending this money, I'm going to go to Bristol and I'm going to see all these different things happening, and I'm in and out of the grandstands, in and out of my seat to witness this race. There's always something happening.
Does it have to be that track though? Because look at Darlington. I thought Florence was a great compliment.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people might not. I don't know that a lot of people look at it that way, but that's something I think we can add to the conversation. I'm just saying, like,
it's a great race weekend.
The fans, I think I'm speaking for the fans, and I think they might agree that the value of content they were able to experience, things they were able to see and do, that should be like the standard.
Should be
for every race weekend. Not the
you can justify going,
not the exception, right?
Yeah, my cousin went, didn't even tell me he was going. He camped all weekend, didn't even tell me. Is that a tool?
I think that's an indictment on you that he didn't want to tell
you. I know. Yeah, maybe.
So all the other tracks, like that's the standard. That should be the bare minimum, right, of what you would expect if you're going to go physically be there. And so a lot of times we go to these races, and man, it's like, all right, qualifying is an afterthought. It's on an app, and we don't. It's not like something you're going to go sit in the grandstands for, and there's not any practices. You're going to get an Xfinity race or a truck race, and then the Cup race, and there might be a concert. I don't know, but it's very thin.
Yeah. Do you feel like
you feel like that?
I mean, I do sometimes, yes. But I also think this weekend went perfectly with weather-wise and things, too.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course it did. It's supposed to. That's what you hope it does.
I know, but I feel like when we run Bristol and we do a Saturday race and it rains out, everyone's like, oh, this is why. You know what I mean? I think it just ruins the weekend. But
weather's always a bad variable to have.
It does hurt.
In any given any race weekend.
Do you think people look at it like, hey, I got a truck race Thursday? It's a long weekend for everybody, right?
I'm just thinking that, I think over the course, if you said, hey, man, we're going to try to offer more content, more on-track product, whether that's more practice, I would love to get some practice back. Not because the drivers need it, not because, and yes, it conflicts with the idea of trying to save the team's money. But, man, the storylines that it creates and the opportunity for the fans to hear cars go into the garage, see teams working and things going on, to see action, to feel like there's a Friday and a Saturday.
Stuff to see.
Yeah, it gives you
content too.
Yeah,
everything.
It makes it feel like there's something going on, and I need to be here, and I'm gonna bring my fifth wheel and hang out with my family. Instead of dragging your fifth wheel out there and it being dead silent between the green and the checkered flag of the two races you're going to happen to see. I don't know. I just thought it just felt like at Bristol this weekend there was always something going on. There was some racing, noise, practice, something.
There was.
Bam, it was just an action-packed, busy place, and it reminded me of the fun experiences of when weekends had more going on. Those are good days, man. Mm-hmm. Bristol definitely felt like a very vintage race weekend with tons of things happening.
Yo, TJ, I see you've been walking around with a new phone. Where'd you get that new phone?
Yeah, man, I love this phone. I recently joined a consumer cellular family, and they hooked me up, man. I got a great new phone, and the service is awesome.
That's great, but like, how's it at Iowa or Richmond, some of these other tracks? Because it's great when you're at home, but like when I'm on the road, my phone is crap.
I travel a lot with the RFK 6 team, and I have had nothing but success with this phone. It has bailed me out numerous times now. I was able to flip the hotspot on and use some internet on it, text, calls, everything, man. I could not be happier with this phone.
All right, but how do I go about getting this? Because I don't have time. I'm not trying to go stand in line at a store, grab a number, wait 30 minutes. Like, I just don't have time for that.
That's the easiest part, man. Just call their 100% U.S.-based customer service representatives, and in about 20 minutes, you'll be good to go. I chose the 2 for $60 plan. It's not a prepaid option. They helped me decide which one was best for me, and I know exactly what I'm paying each month. Everything is easy to understand with no long-term contract. Switch to Consumer Cellular now and get $25 off with the code DJD25. That's DJD25 for $25 off when you switch to Consumer Cellular. Go to consumercellular.com/DJD and use promo code DJD25.
The tire, I think that one of the things to pull away from this is I think everybody loved the direction that Goodyear's going. Maybe it's a bit extreme, but no one knows what track temp we're going to have. There's too many dynamic variables on any given race weekend to be able to say, okay, man, we brought a tire that's going to run 70 laps.
If it's 40 degrees.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
There's so I know Rudy
Fugel.
Rudy had some comments on SiriusXM about like, man, he understands like the quest to get the tire softer and make try to affect what the product looks like, but he would have liked what is our objective? What's the end game here? And the problem seems to be, well, we know now. We had that race a year or two ago at Bristol that like confused the hell out of everybody because it was cool, and we had massive tire wear. And for all of my life, I always associated tire wear with heat and high temperatures. And if you were going to have a cool temperature, you would have less fall off, less wear, all those. It would, cool temperatures weren't conducive to good racing or wear. But now
it's the opposite.
It's the opposite. And it's my opinion that the way they make the tire and the chemicals or the lack of chemicals, oils and different things that were part of the process and infused into the rubber have changed the tire and how the tire reacts to different surfaces and temperatures. And so we're starting to see this across the board in short track racing as well. And we had we had tires, whether it was the Hoosier tire we raced in the short track series, the Bi-Supply, or the original, the Radial that Goodyear makes. It used to have these oils and different chemicals and stuff in it, and when it would wear, the balls of debris and tire debris that would go up the racetrack were
like marbles.
Oily, and you could smear it into your hand,
mash it,
yeah, and you could smear it into your skin, and it would rub off on you. Now, when this tire does wear, it's a powder. It's like a fine powder.
It is,
and it is completely foreign to what I think we've known for years, and so now we're all kind of relearning what what does instigate the tire to wear, and what conditions do we need?
What makes it do this
to create this, right? And it's cool. It's the cool temperature.
It's what it seems to be.
It's what it seems to be. So we've kind of had 2 back-to-back experiences of data points at Bristol, and
what's crazy though is no one in practice. It was only a very minimal difference.
There was no wear, not much fall off. I was
not like this.
Talking to Ryan Blaney, he said, I go out on the racetrack, I run a 15:30, and it goes, in a couple of laps, it's like 40s, 50s, 60s, 80s flats, but then he ran flats forever. And he could have just kept on going and going and going, right? The tire was completely durable. 10 degrees cooler in the race.
Not even.
Right?
Like
5 degrees cooler.
5, 6 degrees, something like that to start.
The tire can go 30 laps, and it goes to the cords and blows the right front.
Yeah.
And
we got better. Teams got better at the race. We went 50, 55, 60, some.
Blaney went 50 or 60 the first run.
Yeah.
If you anticipated it, right? So I don't know that Goodyear can give you – I don't know that Goodyear can take the tire to the racetrack and say, all right, man.
This is what it's going to do.
No matter what temperature it is, this tire is going to do 70 laps. Now, they can make you a bulletproof tire.
They can make a hard tire that'll run forever, yes.
Yeah, they
100%.
sell them on the street every day.
Yep.
I got a set of tires on my pickup truck that I need to change now that's got 30,000 miles on it.
Yeah, go forever.
So, kudos to Goodyear for getting aggressive. We asked them to. For a tire manufacturer to make a tire that wears out, that fails, that will be something you need to manage, is not helpful to their bottom line, or it is not helpful to them selling tires at a tire store on Monday. So what we're asking them to do is almost a detriment to their actual business model, right? What they're not making, Goodyear does not make money building racing tires. They don't. The Goodyear racing tire business is supposed to be a complement to their brand and their ability to sell tires to the customer on the street. And so making these tires wear out and fail
doesn't look good.
It's a risk to their brand. Unless a race,
someone that's not as educated is going to look at it and be like, man, these Goodyear tires are terrible.
Yeah,
but we all know that.
So the driver, and Goodyear also knows that the drivers are the big sounding board, and so if they get out and speak negatively about the tire, that then is also problematic toward their ability to sell a tire to a customer on the street, because the customer hears what the driver says and says, well, Goodyear's product isn't very good, or they don't know how to build a tire that I should probably go get a different tire. So this all has been, Goodyear got very sensitive, toward all of that when after Indy years and years ago, we had the Indy tire that wouldn't go 10 laps.
That was rough.
Oh man. After that race, Goodyear said, never again. We're going to build a hardest tire we can make. We're going to be very conservative. We're not going to ever get anywhere near taking any chances of having this happen again. And so it's taken all of those years to get them sort of to come back to the board and drawing board and say, all right, man, we'll go for it. We'll try to make a tire that's going to be a problem, right, or going to be a challenge.
And it's helped.
I agree it's helped. And it's also been nice that the drivers are all understanding. I think the industry is understanding of the effort, right?
Yeah,
and so
for sure.
You're not getting out of the car and going, damn, this is a dumb idea.
Yeah, it's terrible tire.
Awful tire. So that's important. And I know that, I think that my opinion is like, I think what Goodyear might say is, look, man, we're trying to make the tire wear. We don't know what temperature we're going to get when we get there. And we're going to have to hope, we're just going to, this is the tire, and you guys just going to have to manage it. If the temperature's this, it might go 30 laps. If the temperature's that, it'll go 100 laps. There you go.
I'm fine with it.
I am too. And so it's not so much a Goodyear thing. It's a temperature thing, right? Mm-hmm. And the teams will learn and adapt, right? just like we talked about with the racetrack, you give them something new. It looks amazing and awesome because they don't know how to use it. They don't know how to take advantage of it. Well, they will learn that, right? And so the teams will get smarter and smarter.
Drivers will get better.
They'll go into these races and go, hey, we got all these data points. This tire did this. Be ready for that. Expect that. And we'll adjust as the race goes on and we learn, which I think would be really fascinating. My opinion is I wouldn't change a thing.
I wouldn't either.
I
you
know
have
a lot
more
of
factors with this tire. You have more factors when it's like this because the driver comes into play a lot more, and the setup comes into play as well because how aggressive you want to be. There's so many more factors that are. I mean, it's more fun for a race fan. It's got to be, right?
Yeah, I talked to a driver this morning, and they loved having an opportunity as a driver to maybe do it better than the guy in front of him.
Exactly.
That's never really part of the game anymore. At a lot of races, you just fire off and you got the car you got, and if you can, if it handles better and you can drive it, the way you want.
Like Chase Briscoe said,
this
car turns better.
You have a great day. Yeah. And so here we are at a racetrack where now you have a new variable or an old variable that's been missing of the driver feeling like, all right, if I'm smarter, then maybe I don't cord my right front as soon as this guy up here who's being a little more reckless or a little more brazen.
I think we missed that point you just said a lot. If I am smarter. Right now, there's not a lot of that. It's just this car is usually faster.
Yeah, you just run like hell because
you just run as fast as you can every lap.
Tires often a little bit too durable.
I want them to think that. Like,
yeah.
If I be smarter, I can beat this guy. Yeah. That should be a thought process way more.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a good move in the right direction for Goodyear, and you don't know. You could go back to this racetrack 6 months from now and have a completely different race and have a completely different wear, and so for them to sort of be chasing the temperature feels like that would be just a waste of everybody's time.
Yeah.
Right. For them to be chasing, moving the durability of the tire all around, chasing a dynamic variable that's going to be different every time you go to the racetrack. I just say, hey man, we've made you this tire. Everybody's asked for it. Surely they can tweak and play with.
Richmond was a good tire too, and it was warm.
Yeah.
So they're still.
Yeah. And Goodyear will continue to tweak and play with it,
sure.
But I think this direction's a good direction.
Oh my gosh, it's so nice when we have these.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a nice change of pace from what we're experiencing at other racetracks with the the mile and a halves and so forth. It's kind of nice to go to a racetrack and go, oh yeah, man, this is going to be cool because of the tire wear, or the drivers are going to drive completely different, or this will be I loved. You know why I've always just loved short track racing? Not because of the shape of the track or it's always the contact and the physicality of short track racing.
Closeness of the cars.
When I was a little kid, I'm like, man, we're going to see them boys beat on each other today. It's going to be fun. And that's what we got this past weekend. That's why I loved short track racing, not because of just, that was the only reason.
Was it hard to stop? Like did you watch the race when it was going on?
Yeah. Was
it entertaining when it's going on? Like there was a lot of stuff happening at one time, right? Like
the strategies, it was kind of hard to figure out who's where, but it was entertaining.
Yeah.
Like you had comers and goers and people. Like I don't know what more you could want from a fan.
Yeah.
Like if you weren't happy with that, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was it was neat that Bowman spins early. He's able to figure out a way to get some of that track position back at a risk, right? That he's going to have to stay out on tires.
Did a good job of doing that.
Yeah. So even though your guy might have ended up upside down at some point in the night, metaphorically, he could figure out a way to rebound or take a risk, right, with the tire to give himself the track position.
I'll tell you what was cool. 9 laps on our tires was like, should we come? Should we not? It was like,
right.
That's
yes,
awesome.
Yeah.
It was on the fence. Like, we got to stay out here. We got to save it. Guess what? We had about a handful of guys pit, and you're like, oh, here they're going to be coming through here. That is awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
If you had to critique one thing, there was a lot of caution laps.
You think that the cautions were too long?
Yeah.
They needed to be quicker.
But I can't really critique NASCAR because I don't know if
they could have sped it up,
Yeah.
but it was a lot of time spent under yellow.
Yeah, I think that's a common complaint that we hear as well in the short track world, and there's a lot of reasons why the cautions are the way they are, and they are too long. But there's reasons why that extra lap is added.
Yeah.
Or I remember, and Bristol is such a small track that cleanup is tough to do because there's constantly cars coming
Going
around.
by, yes.
And so the trucks and the people that are trying to do what they need to do to get the track ready for racing have a tougher job. And I remember this was the race where me and Robbie Gordon got into it, and I flipped him the bird on pit road afterwards. We had ran, if I remember correctly, we had ran really well all day.
Did you get a stage win?
Somewhere late in the race, we lost a ton of track position. Fell back to like 15th or so. We had about 40 laps to go, and I needed all of those laps to be green to try to drive through the field. And I don't know, we weren't doing double file restarts and stuff at this point. So, like, if cautions come out, now you got all the lap cars back on the inside, and if you're lining up 12th, you're really 24th.
No choose then either.
Yeah, no choose or nothing. So, like, you didn't need any cautions. And so I'm driving physically up through the pack. Robbie's a lap down, and I'm trying to pass his ass, and he's not letting me get through, right? And we're beating on each other. Caution comes out. I'm mad as hell, just in general. And I get on the radio, and I'm like, I don't know what the heck is going on here with these yellow flags. They either need to red flag the race or drop the green flag. So we've got like 15 to go, 14 to go, 12 to go, 11 to go, 10 to go. I'm like, let's go. I want an opportunity to get back into the top 10 here and at least salvage something. And I'm just animated as heck on the radio. And all of a sudden, they said over the radio to me, NASCAR wants to see you and Tony Sr. in the hauler afterwards. And so, okay, guess we're in trouble. So we get going, and finally green flag comes out. I don't know where we finished, 11th, 12th or something like that. Get to beating and banging on each other with Robbie coming to pit road. I'm mad. He's mad. And all that happened. Then I have to go over to the NASCAR hauler. And I don't really know for sure what kind of conversation I'm about to have. I sat down in the hauler with Tony Sr. Tony Uri Sr. is mean, fiery. He will not back down to no one. He will get in anybody's face. He's ready to fight. He's that kind of guy, right? You don't tell him nothing. And so I'm a little nervous because I'm not sure what we're going to have here. So we walk in there and sit down, and no one's there yet. We got there before Helton and all those guys have come down from the booth. Helton walks in there. We sit there for 20 minutes waiting. Finally, Helton walks in there, and as soon as he comes through the door, me and Tony Sr. start talking. Like, hey, man, listen, and we got, we going to plead our case. And he said, y'all ain't here to talk. Y'all are here to listen. And he said, man, there was parts and pieces of brake rotor and all kinds of stuff littered all around the top groove of that racetrack that we're trying to clean off the racetrack. We're not riding you under caution for no reason at all. There's a purpose and a reason for us to be under yellow. And there's a lot of things going on that you don't know anything about. And he said it and made it pretty clear that we needed to be a little bit more
lenient,
particular about what we said on our radio. And so, that was a moment where I always, ever since then, I've kind of, even though cautions can get drawn out, and I'm definitely one of the people that feel like that the stage break is a little long, but you've got to in the stage, award the winner, understand all the rundown, open pit road, car, TV's going to run off to commercial. And so there, and you eat into this second stage, right? The second stage is like already 8 laps old before you get back to green flag. I don't love all of that, but and I wish they could figure out a way to shorten that particular stage. The stage breaks are unnecessary in terms of how long the caution is. But I'm sure there's a reason. The playoff standings are now set for the second round. We've got some drivers that were eliminated. TJ, you had Barry, Chastain, Dillon, and SVG.
Yeah, I had it perfect until Travis talked me out of it.
Yep.
I had Chastain. I put Chastain and had Bowman advancing.
Yeah. I had Cindric, Chastain, Dillon, and SVG, so I didn't get it right either.
You had Barry, and I when I mentioned Chastain, I somehow convinced both of you guys to put him on there.
Yeah. Oh, wait, what?
I was one that mentioned Chastain, and
He
both of you
did.
guys thought I was correct in how he was performing and put him on your
Yeah.
And
first
then he
four.
went and totally redeemed himself and ran great, ran fine.
Well, so Josh Berry, we're going to take him off?
Yep, he's
Coming
gone.
off? Yep. All right. These guys all autographed.
All
Yeah,
autographed.
pass them over here, pal.
Here we
Little Austin Dillon. I saw where Austin Dillon, his team won the bull riding thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep, so they're gone, and
Now it gets interesting.
they're relegated back to the rest of the field.
This is getting tougher.
And so now the remaining cars on the field on the table here, Denny Hamlin at plus 26, Byron plus 24, Larson plus 24, Bell plus 20. Bell adding a few playoff points to that overall total this past weekend at Bristol. Blaney plus 19, Briscoe plus 10. Then you have Chase Elliott at plus 5 in 8th, right at the cut line, plus 1, Bubba. And then 9th, Cindric, Logano, Chastain, Reddick, all -1, -2, -2, -3.
Ooh, that's tight.
Very tight. All right, let's pick our 4. Who's going to get rooted
So
out?
let's look at the tracks first. We
Okay,
got
that's a great
We got
idea.
Loudon, Kansas, and what's the third one?
Roval.
Oh,
Loudon, Kansas,
and the Roval.
Roval.
I mean, the top 4, the top 5 are safe.
Yep.
Are they?
I think so. I mean, without a mechanical issue or something.
So, like,
Blaney,
what do you think the top 4 or 5, like, average finish, what you think they
just
need?
top 10s. They'll come around there with a top 10. Those are top 10 cars every week, pretty much, without minus a mechanical issue or a wreck or something.
But I feel like you're going to see one of those guys have an issue.
I don't know, man.
All right. He thinks he's going to see one have an issue.
You're trying to.
He doesn't
he's
feel
doing
that
it
way.
again. He's doing it again.
I think TJ's right. I'm just going to go ahead and transfer the top 5 in. I think Briscoe's going to be safe because of Loudon and the Roval. He's won at the Roval.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Briscoe's performance lately. He is probably the most consistent, hottest driver.
I'll tell you what scares me about Briscoe, and I saw this before it happened at Gateway. He got in the pack, and he started driving a little reckless.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm afraid of with Briscoe is him getting a little bit behind and trying to make up for it. He wrecked somebody who did he wreck at Gateway? He's wrecked somebody into 1. But that was him trying to get back through the pack on a different pit strategy. And this isn't the time. You can't do that right now. But he's got a 10-point lead. Elliott, I mean, that's a tough one, man. I do feel like Cindric's going to drop. I don't know.
This is so tough. They're all so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is really hard. I'm no scientific data here. No evidence or real hard study to back up this prediction, but my 4 that are going to struggle to make it into the next round are Chase Elliott, Cindric, Chastain, Reddick. I think that Logano, who tested at Loudon, did he not? I think he did. At a tire test at Loudon, I think Jeff Burton was talking about it on our door bump clear this week. I feel like Loudon and Kansas are 2 good tracks for Joey. And so I think he'll do just enough to advance. And
he's still, even at Gateway, he didn't have track position at the beginning of the race. The next thing you know, he's up there.
yeah.
grinding it out.
He always
I know.
finds a way to get himself just in,
I don't.
as one of
It's
the drivers
crazy.
competing.
I know.
It's ridiculous. Like he'll be 18th, and then you look up there and he's 4th.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. He doesn't have 2 years in a row. Maybe you could go back further and determine if it's more. But 2 years in a row, he's had a very subpar regular season. But then when we get into the playoffs and you look at the tracks and you go, yeah, could see him doing pretty good there. And so
I think Loudon last year he had an issue though. This
Yeah.
put him behind in this. In this
look,
round.
I mean, if they have an issue, they have an issue. But I'm saying if everything goes well, and he tested there, and Jeff Burton said he had some pretty good speed that particular test at Loudon.
of the 3 cars that were there,
Listen,
I'm just messing.
Burton knows what he's talking about.
He does, yeah.
And then Kansas is a pretty reasonable track for him. So, I think he gets through. The margin of error here, though, on this is like I wouldn't be surprised if I only get one of these right.
The thing
Yeah.
about Joey is, one, he's talented enough to just be up there to compete for a win. But then if he's having an off day, that's where Paul Wolf comes in and is
Yeah,
great
sure.
with the strategy and gives him a shot.
How does Chase Elliott not get eliminated?
I feel like he's had decent speed, just the finishes aren't there. Like
Well, at the start of the year, they were the most consistent team in the garage and leading the
agree.
points, right? So, I mean, he's points leading worthy. He's led the points for most of the season. But where's my confidence? I
Yeah.
guess they've been just so quietly doing this that I look at the other names and I'm like, at +5, is he going to be able to do enough to sort of separate himself? I think he can outpoint Bubba, but I don't know, man. Bubba's really kind of turned it up another notch this year.
I feel like he's just like right now, he's playing with house money. He doesn't care, and he's just going out there and driving.
Seems like since Indy, he's sort of switched into another gear that I've never seen him really have before. Just in his pace and speed, his confidence, and that he deserves to be up there, can do it, should be able to do it. Reddick worries me a little bit. I don't see the speed that I think that they're capable of. Again, Chastain, the track house hot and cold. You never know; they might show up at Kansas and dominate, just like they did at the 600. But if they don't do that, they're an 18th, 20th place team, right?
Probably, yeah.
To your point with Chase, he's got 11 starts at New Hampshire, 3 top 10s.
Yeah. New Hampshire's that kind of track, man. Jesus. I loved running there, but I, for the life of me, couldn't figure out how to consistently finish well there.
What is it about the track?
Well, if it don't turn in the middle, you're screwed. I mean, if you're just a little bit tight center, the corners are really flat, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I don't know. It's always just kind of this track where I always felt like I was just a bit off from where I needed to be and what I needed the car to have. I would have races where we'd run good, but just couldn't consistently put it together there. Fun track, though.
I felt like we ran pretty good there.
We might have, yeah.
I felt like it was one of the better tracks that I knew we go on
Always
there.
came down to this stupid strategy at the end because it's this weird race where you're going to have a lot of guys that don't pit for tires with 100 laps to go. And so you could run 4th and 5th all day long, but at the end of the last cycle, you come out and you're 12th or 15th because there's these 6 or 7 guys that didn't come down pit road that are good on fuel, right? That are going to try to make it work.
And they weren't really there all day.
They weren't
just
there all
kinda
day.
Not leading anyway.
And then you then you destroy your trying to race through the pack and get your spot back, and get your finish back that you thought you're going to deserve.
You got wrecked by your guest last week.
We talked about that. Me and Ruderman,
you did?
Yeah, me and Ruderman got up from the table and had a conversation about that.
Yeah.
Here you go, Dale. You had 35 starts there, 8 top 5s, 15 top 10s.
There you go. Well, not one of my best.
I feel like that was a good one, though.
Yeah.
Average starting position, 16.1.
So,
qualifying is a different story.
Can you sort by average finish?
Your average finish was 15.9.
Yeah, can you sort it at the top? Go up to the top of the average finish and click that. Yep. Just there you go.
Wow, that's lower than I thought, though.
Where is it?
Oh, wait, that's not Loudon in general.
That's every track.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
every. Can you
Yeah,
click
so
Loudon
that's
on the
1,
left
2.
and bring it up?
Why?
And now it's sorted by average finish. Who has the best? I don't know.
No, this is just
this is
Dale's
me.
numbers.
Oh, okay.
Fool. Atlanta was my best track
Old Atlanta.
12
Look
points.
at the Atlanta, Martinsville, Bristol, Richmond. Martinsville, Bristol, Richmond. I was a short track guy.
Vegas does not.
I know,
Vegas
right?
stands
Vegas
out.
does not seem
Texas,
like.
but Vegas and Texas are similar.
I had 8. Vegas was my 5th best average finish at 13.8, but I only had 4 top 5s there in 18 starts.
10 top 10s.
Just running right around that average, 13th. But yeah, I was a short track guy. Look at Daytona down there, Talladega, right in the middle of the pack. Everybody thought I was just a plate guy. But man, I was a short track guy. We had many years where I've scored more points than anybody on the short tracks. I outpointed everybody at all the short tracks.
I felt like that was definitely a strength.
Yeah.
Even the old Phoenix.
Hell yeah. 13 top 5s at Martinsville.
You would not like the new Phoenix.
No, I didn't. I don't. I don't like the new dog leg. I like the flat track.
Yeah, where you could use the apron. It was similar
Yeah.
to Bristol, where you could get the left front down there at times and stuff.
Yeah. So, so do you have your 4 that you think are going to get knocked out of the round?
I do. I think Cindric drops out. I think Bubba just he's up and down for me, and I think this is a tough round to get through. I have Chastain just kind of being average there, and this isn't a great time for being average. And Reddick just is having an off year. I mean, he's still having a good year, but it's just an off year for him, in my opinion. And I think Logano can move up.
I do too. So you and I are the same, except for Chase Elliott and Bubba. And honestly, I'm on the fence between them two, but I don't know. I got this feeling that Bubba's gonna pull.
He could.
Yeah, like
He's got a different.
it is
look.
gonna be razor thin.
Chase has to show up now.
Yeah, like the margins of between 7th and 12th. It's right now +5, and Chase Elliott is +5 in 7th. Reddick's only 3 out in 12th. I think it's going to stay this tight all the way through.
I mean, if you're a crew chief or you're looking at the strategy for this now, do you just write off the top 5? Like you're really racing these guys right around you, right? I know you want to win, but like you're not really racing William Byron right now.
No. I think if one of those guys in the top 5 do have an issue, it's a bonus.
Yeah, it's a gift.
It's like a gift.
But you can't, at New Hampshire, start worrying about where these guys are racing, though. You got to race your race.
Yeah, I don't think
you
you're worried
do,
about.
But I mean, if you're, are you going to take 9th place stage points and let the other guys flip the stage or something? You know what I mean? Like, and then you're going to cycle behind them a long ways.
I mean, 9th place, no. I don't think so.
But that's the decision that some of these guys are going to have to make at points. That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, but I think you got to.
You can't do the same as them all the time. You know what I mean? You're going to have to do something different at some point.
Now, the interesting thing is also you have the Roval waiting as your 3rd race, too.
Which is a wild card
depending
now.
on the driver, you better get some work done now.
Yeah.
Roval is not where I want to go on a points position, on the edge.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to go to the Roval this year. Not after the way the Oval's been racing.
No.
Mark is so hard-headed. I don't know why. I mean, I'm sure there's a really good reason why you wouldn't change. You can't change in like the, inside of a 12-month window. Like, all right, let's just not do the Roval this year. I guess, there's a lot of people that have bought tickets thinking they're coming to the Roval, right?
Yeah, but how many of those fans would honestly be, you know what? Damn it, I wanted the Roval.
Man, I don't know. And
I think that's the one thing the NASCAR community can agree on is
Yeah.
bring back the Oval.
I think they do. And I bet there's part of Marcus that he wishes he could. I think there's...
He can, right?
No, I think there's probably some legal... there's probably
something
some
there.
lawsuit that could be filed by somebody if they were like, wait a minute, you said this was on the schedule to be at a Roval. I'm not getting my Roval.
I mean, I get that there's contracts and stuff, but I think they can all get in a room and be like, hey,
Can you just text him and ask him?
like,
Probably could.
I mean, come on.
He might love the Roval.
Can you imagine if we had
Maybe he does. Maybe that's it.
the Oval as the cutoff?
I hear you. I
I'm
wish
fine
it
with
was.
that.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I wish
Yeah.
it was.
Marcus.
Yeah.
Oh, on Holler Talk, they mentioned about the idea of adding a 4th stage to the Superspeedways, so Daytona, Talladega. Fans did not like this idea. I spoke of this myself on this show. Guys, don't y'all remember?
I do.
Yeah, and so we were talking about how at the last restrictor plate race, we had this first stage where everybody raced like hell. And it's like, well, if we want to try to, get that style of racing the entire time, maybe we don't, maybe take fuel out of it all entirely. Well, fuel out of it as much as you can, and add a fourth stage. That doesn't sound so crazy to me because we have a fourth stage in the 600 and no one cares, right? And so I'm like, all right, well, it's super speedway racing. The other thing that I like about it is it adds importance to those two races because there'll be more points on the line.
It's the most important races of the year.
Yeah. So the 600 has the extra stage, so there's that opportunity uniquely in that particular weekend where you can gain more points than your traditional race weekend. So now, there's been this. I love Daytona. I also love Talladega. I had a lot of success at both of those racetracks. The racing there over the last several years has taken a beating from critics, myself included. And drivers would even argue that is the Daytona 500 still the most important race of the year? Yes, everyone wants to win a Daytona 500, but is it the most important race? It's fallen from that perch. And that is a problem for me. The Daytona 500, for all of my life, has been compared to the Super Bowl of the NFL. It has always been this very important event that everyone did everything they could to try to find a way to win it once. And it would even be compared to a championship. To some drivers like myself, would you trade a Daytona 500 trophy for a championship? That was a legitimate question you might get. No one's asking those questions now because obviously everyone would say, I want that championship. Because the Daytona 500 and its solidified spot as the most important race is no longer the case. And so adding this fourth stage and making those races mean more from a point standpoint would also make the races again, mean more from a competitor standpoint. Is it the best solution? No. Is it the perfect solution? It's not. I'm sure fans will tell you, well, get rid of the stages. Don't tell them when you're going to throw the yellows, right? And maybe, then they can't predict and plan. Great points by all of those people. But I don't know that that's on the table. I don't think NASCAR is considering that, or else I would try to use whatever influence we have here to support that. But I think adding the fourth stage is maybe not the best idea, but it's an idea, I guess, that they are contemplating. They brought it up.
It's moving in the right direction. At least they're trying.
Yeah. Do you think, TJ, Travis, do you think if they took the stage cautions out, you still award points at a certain point in the race, drivers are racing toward that moment, but if they took out stage yellows and you didn't know if and when a caution would come, would you still save fuel knowing that you needed to minimize the time on pit road?
Yeah, I think no matter what, you're going to take that, whatever the final lap, you're going to run the race backwards, and you're going to try to make your last stop as short as possible to cycle in front of everybody.
Exactly.
But I do think it worries me doing that, though, that the Talladega is going to have basically zero passing maybe because it's hard to pass when everybody's going hard, and the guys in the front can control that. The front two cars, the first two cars in the line can control the third lane, whether there's a third lane or not, right? The third lane only forms when they save.
I felt like that the passing was good in this past Talladega race where there was a lot of...
But why was it good? Because they were saving fuel?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, though. If they're not saving fuel, I don't think you're having a third lane. Like, the front two cars of each line are kind of controlling the third lane, whether they want it to be there or not. And I think you run hard enough to maintain your track position. Might it give someone that just rides in the back all day a little bit more of a shorter stop at the end? But, I mean, it's definitely another variable to add in there, but I still think you're gonna have the same stuff. Talladega it's hard to.
And Daytona. I mean,
Daytona was good,
Yeah.
but it was still hard because we got back there and we were gridlocked. We couldn't move, even with and I know everyone's like, well, Blaney came from 12th in the outside lane. Things worked out perfectly. Yeah. It's not going to happen every time like that, I don't think. It's not going to form like that and do that every single time. So we got to keep that in mind as well.
I just felt like at Daytona that the racing looked more like what I thought plate racing should look like.
It did.
And I felt like guys were going harder, but runs and passes and things were still possible. Guys were taking chances. And I feel like I think that if you add the fourth stage, you more than likely, more often get that style of race. If you take the cautions away from the stage breaks themselves, take them out, you're still going to have guys that are going to sit in the draft, save, to your point, to knock a couple seconds off of that final stop and leapfrog the field.
Mm-hmm.
And so it will not. I don't think taking the cautions out is the answer. I think you're still going to have fuel mileage.
Yeah, these crew chiefs are too smart at what they're doing.
Yeah, but if you say, hey, we're going to have it's 40 laps, you don't need fuel, race your ass off, bam, bam, bam. I think you're going to have more action.
There was. Daytona also had, they were sliding up, and I can tell you from my point of view, handling that when I can see the car on the bottom sliding up to the middle groove and the guy on the outside they're sliding up and they're all like in unison with each other, that tells me those guys are having to open the wheel up on purpose. Like they have to or they're going to crash.
The drivers all said, like Chase Elliott and them guys in the pack were like, tires matter. Y'all don't, they were all alerting their crews. Like, I know that we probably don't want to put tires on this thing no more than we have to because we're just going to try to pack it full of fuel and beat everybody off pit road, but tires matter. Like, I need to be on the offense and I need rubber on the car.
What if we had tires that wore out more?
I'm sure that's another direction.
I know it's going to be hard at Talladega to make a difference, but Daytona, I could for sure see it.
Well, I think they don't need to change the tire because the tracks are going that direction. Like, the tracks are trending in that direction to make the balance matter. Cars sliding around more creates heat in the tire. When the tire gets hot, it loses grip. I don't know that I need a tire to wear out at Daytona and Talladega, but if you're sliding, then you're going to lose grip, lose confidence, lose ability to hold people off. You're going to create comers and goers. Passing, yeah. So, and I think that's coming just because of the tracks themselves are starting to age a little bit. And if the guys are running hard, right, they're pushing the tire, challenging the balance of the car instead of sitting in line and running half throttle.
Daytona was definitely a lot more running hard, a lot more.
And that's going to heat the tire up. That's going to make things mad and get the balance angry. Whereas if you're saving fuel and everybody's riding 80% throttle or even less, nobody's really going to start getting tired or start getting loose or start to struggle and slip up out of line and create the comers and goers and passing. So I know that everyone doesn't love this idea of the fourth stage, but I'm telling you it's a nothing burger because we don't look at the 600 and go, oh damn, that fourth stage. Nobody even cares. Nobody even really. I don't think anybody even picks up on the idea that it's even in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't.
It's not a conversation point at all leading up to the race, and it wouldn't be one in either at Daytona and Talladega if they had another stage.
Nobody at the end of the year is like, you know what, man, I would have finished first in the regular season if there was only 3 stages.
Well, I think the fans are, not happy about the idea of the fourth stage, but I don't know that they're going to really notice that it's changed their experience. If anything, it should give us the Daytona, that we saw at the end of this regular season this year. That it should give us that more often at all of the plate races.
If it adds another stop, it definitely another green flag stop. It definitely adds the element of like, what are these?
It wouldn't be a green flag stop.
Where if they add another stage,
you don't. need
I
fuel.
gotcha. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You just race your ass off. Go get you 10 points if you want. Go get you a playoff point if you want.
But at Charlotte, they got a pit with the fourth stage.
Yeah, because it's 600 miles.
Yes, you got a pit during your stages there. So that, to me, you got, do do you short pit? Do you run long? And that gives guys that if you're running 12th, you're going to run long and, and you get that caution. Guess who's getting track position? You're getting, you know what I mean?
That's not a strategy at the
not the big tracks.
No. Well, it'd be interesting to see if there's more conversation around that going into next season. As we told you, this episode of Dirty Air is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. The Earnhardt family has always relied on Bass Pro Shops for our outdoor adventures. And I grew up shopping there. It's a place that I love sharing with my own family, taking Isla and the girls over to the fish tank.
Oh, it's the best.
Oh, yeah. We love to gear up together for everything on our weekend getaways, taking the fifth wheel camping, or just hanging around the house and fishing out of our own pond. I'm thankful for the support that Johnny Morris and the entire Bass Pro Shops team have shown across all of our businesses here. We've got Bass Pro logos on our Xfinity program. They're helping little Wyatt out as he goes through the process of his career. They've been on our late model program on the hood of our cars that we've raced in the Cars Tour for years. And so they believe in what we're building here, and they've stood behind us every step of the way. They're great partners, and they're great people. Be sure to check out all they have to offer, no matter what you're into, camping, hunting, fishing. You just need some warm clothes for the winter. You can find everything you need at the nearest Bass Pro Shops, or you can shop online at BassPro.com. The NASCAR playoffs are here, and so is your chance to bring the intensity home. Celebrate every pass, pit stop, and photo finish with a collectible car from Lionel Racing, the official diecast of NASCAR. Built for fans who live for the chase, Lionel Racing Diecast is the ultimate trophy. Each car is precision crafted, featuring authentic paint schemes and hand-applied decals. Plus, each 1/24th scale diecast is part of a limited edition run, making every piece a must-have for true collectors. Whether you're riding with Team Larson, backing Team Hamlin, or cheering for an underdog to take it all, Lionel Racing has the diecast that reps your favorite playoff driver. Follow along with us throughout the playoffs to see which drivers advance and which ones don't. We'll feature these diecasts on the set here at the Dale Jr. Download. Now through the end of September, get free U.S. shipping when you purchase the Cup Series diecast of a NASCAR playoff driver. Just go to LionelRacing.com and use promo code PLAYOFFS. That's promo code PLAYOFFS at LionelRacing.com. All right, we got Christopher Bell on the show, the winner from Bristol, and we've had him on a lot this year. It's been nice to...
It's been a while.
It's been too long, Dale.
Well, it's been too long. It doesn't feel like it, man. It feels like you've been winning with quite consistency, but I know that you probably don't feel that way. But an awesome place to win races at. Being able to go up that ramp at Bristol and experience all that is quite unique. Tell us about your night, man.
Oh boy, that's a loaded question there, Dale. That night was that was wild, and I'm sure every driver would say the same thing. Of you didn't know if you were leading the race, if you were running last, if you're on the lead lap, if you're 2 laps down, 3 laps down. It was wild. It was wild and chaotic, and fortunately, the race played out for me. I think I said at post race that whoever was going to win that race was going to get really lucky. There's no way that anybody was going to win without luck being on their side when the yellows came out, when the long green flag runs played out, what tires you were on at that point in time. Adam did a great job calling the race, and the race fell for us, so it worked out.
What's that feeling like going up that ramp on top of that building for Victory Lane? I always felt like that winning at Bristol was special. It was one of my favorite racetracks as a kid going to, and I loved the energy of the night race. Does it have a unique feel compared to what you experience in other wins?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, first off, the Bristol night race has been the top of my list for ever since I got into the Cup Series. Like, it is just so you can feel the energy. The pre-race ceremonies are always incredible. And then Bristol's Victory Lane, like, you literally drive on the roof of the media center. Like, how cool is that? That's about as cool as it gets. And I got fortunate enough to drive up there with dirt tires on, but I was been wanting to do it with asphalt tires for a while.
So the tire was quite the conversation, a big talking point leading into the race, and tended to think we might not have much tire wear after practice, but the race was a whole different outcome. In the end, there's everybody's kind of taking stock of what we saw. What do we want going forward? Where do you kind of lie in all of that? I know you won the race, so people are going to be critical of your opinion because of the win. But I really we've talked about it, and we really feel like that it's with the temperature being so unpredictable. I just kind of keep going down the road the way we're going, because you never really know what you're going to get in terms of temperature and so forth. So that kind of makes the wear unpredictable. And but where do you lie?
I'll start by saying I want the best teams and the best drivers to be able to win the races. Like that's what I want to happen. And with the way that the races play out or specifically this race with the high tire deg, it is so much luck, Dale. It is so much luck. And, you don't, if you had more tires, it would probably make it a little bit less lucky, because you're able to just put tires on whenever the yellow flag comes out, and, you're less at risk. But the way that third stage played out, with all of those rash of yellows, like, you can't put tires on all the time. And then if you don't put tires on and then it runs green, you're gonna be buried. You're gonna lose your track position, and it becomes so difficult. And even in stage one, like, the guys who had the one-stop strategy, they paid the price because the yellow flag came out at the wrong time for them, and it benefited the guys who pitted early and were going on the two-stop strategy. So I don't know how we have that problem a lot at other racetracks, but the difference is you don't go so many laps down whenever the green flag cycle happens. And so I don't like the aspect of so much luck is, indicative of the outcome.
Yeah, that's a great point. We kind of wonder, if it's hard to believe, though, that like 5 degrees of temperature can affect how much wear that we see in the tire.
And then it's on top of that, it is on totally different ends of the spectrum. Like, you either have zero wear or the most wear we see all year.
I know. That's it's just hard to believe there's one single variable, and it's literally around 5 degrees of temperature that determine that. When you go to Bristol, what's your preferred Bristol? Do you like that running around the bottom, the contact that we saw, physicality of that race? Or, I imagine being a dirt guy, you love running the top and getting up on the cushion a little bit, so to speak, as well.
I mean, normal Bristol has always been my favorite racetrack. I love the grinded out mentality, the push as hard as you can. The pace is so fast. Lap traffic is everywhere. And then especially with the track prep that they've had the last, 5 years or so of being able to have the bottom. So we have the bottom, have the top, you have different options. I don't know. I thought it's been racing really well. We've had 2 races now where the tires have been unpredictable, and to an extent, I like that unpredictability. I think it does provide, it provides another wild card, but on the same breath, like, we already have 6 super speedway races. I hate whenever luck is a main factor in who wins the races. Like, I want the best drivers and the best cars to win.
We have Loudon, Kansas, Roval coming up in this next round. How do you feel about those 3 racetracks and your chance to be able to continue to move forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all in our hands. Certainly, there are 3 racetracks that we run really well at. I haven't won at Kansas, but I've won at the other 2. And we have high expectations and goals of ourselves, and hopefully, hopefully we can go out there and execute. But certainly, there's nothing that says we won't run well. That's for sure.
All right, man. Well, hey, appreciate the time you gave us today. Congratulations on the win at Bristol. Always awesome to put one of those trophies on the mantle. And good luck going forward in this next round.
Thank you, Dale. We'll talk to you next
time.
Bud.
We'll see you. Hey, everybody. You want the latest Dale Jr. download apparel? Visit shop.dirtymomedia.com. We're always adding new stuff all the time, especially like when we say something silly on this show. We'll put it on a t-shirt. Again, check it out at shop.dirtymomedia.com. In racing and in life, speed isn't optional. It's expected. As a driver and Xfinity Series team owner, I rely on things that perform under pressure, and that's why I go with Xfinity Wi-Fi. Fast, dependable internet with one price, locked in for 5 years. No contracts, no slowdowns, no nonsense. Xfinity, proud premier partner of NASCAR.
Well, we got great questions from the fans this week. This first one's from Hunter. Chase Elliott said in an interview recently with Bobby Bones that you helped him change to the number 9 from the 24. So how did that end up coming about?
I think the 9 car was going away. Petty or whatever that 9 car was at the point was going away and available, or had been gone for a couple years. And I went to Chase and I just said, hey man, if you wanted to change, you better do it soon. You're building some equity with this 24, but if it's not too late to change and it not be like a, kind of a awkward thing. So he's like, oh no, I ain't gonna ask for that. I'm okay. And I'm like, well, would you want to? He goes, yeah, I would, but I'm okay. And so, he's young. He's only in like year 2. And so I went to Rick and I said, Rick, man, I got an idea that I think would be a pretty big deal. I was like, an Elliott in the number 9 is a big win for everybody. And so I think William Byron might have been coming in.
Yeah, because I think he ended up taking the 24.
Yeah. And so I was like, shift. The 24 is very important to Rick, Jeff Gordon, the legacy, and they want it to be in victory circle and continue on. And there's a lot of equity built in that number, and so that was one of the holdups, I think, for everybody. But I was like, Rick, this will be insane. The fans would love this. Chasing the number 9, and for him to get this done now and be able to, hopefully run the next 20 years with this number, racking up, more equity in the number and the history of the number. So he's like, I'd be fine with that. So I called Chase back. I'm like, dude, I talked to Rick. He's open to the idea. I said, I'm serious. You need to get in front of him and see if y'all can figure it out. So, because I knew down in there somewhere that that's really truly what he wanted, but he didn't want to disappoint Jeff and Rick, and he didn't want and I think for me, right, the number fits Byron. For you know what I mean?
Oh, and the number 9 fits Chase. Like it
just seems
like
to
makes sense,
right?
Yeah,
and it was good for everybody. But and he'd ran the 9 here. Right, 9 had been his number, right? So, So I was what small role I played in sort of kicking the ball down the hill, I was happy to do, because Chase, I wanted that for Chase. He's living his dream, racing, and just too good of an opportunity for it not to be perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. I do feel bad for some of those fans that got 24 tattoos just on that first year. But it definitely, it seems like it was the right move.
It's always interesting in sports when you see a player like change a number and you're just like, you don't like it when they wear that number. They just don't look like themselves or whatever. Like you just identify them with that number.
It is a very difficult. I think for racing too, because the number is a big identifier.
Yeah.
No different than other sports, right? For your favorite player, if you got a favorite team and a favorite player and he's wearing this number and for whatever reason he changes or goes to another team playing with a different jersey number, it's the strangest thing.
But with racing, like it's also like the previous drivers that had that number too, so it's just like
there's a lot of history.
Yeah.
Equity. Yep.
100%. This next question coming from Grant. They saw that you posted on Twitter that you'd be okay in a hypothetical 3-3-4 format to have Talladega in the final round, and they wanted to know why.
Why not? I don't know. They wanted to know why.
Yeah, like
just why was the question?
What the hell?
What's the problem?
I don't know. It feels like it would be a controversial thing if that ended up being the format, to have a super speedway in the championship round.
Should we just get rid of them altogether?
I don't know, but
super speedways have kind of been in part of our DNA, and I don't know why I don't know why that's so problematic to have one in a final round.
I think it's because you could see a massive wreck and then the drivers that are
try to avoid the wreck. Try to win the race.
Wreck avoidance.
Try to win. Go win. I don't love road courses. I don't, but I still think that that's probably a perfectly fine idea to have a road course in the final round. I mean, a super speedway, 1.5 miles, a short track, and a road course. Let's see what you can do. Road courses are not at the top of my list, but I'm not over here going, we shouldn't have any road courses in the final round. But we have been going to Daytona since the 50s. They built Talladega in the late 60s. This has been in our sport forever. And I think that it's perfectly normal and fine for me for it to be one of the races of multiple events in the final round. Unpredictably be damned. I feel like, if there's a problem with the racing, if there's something about the racing that we don't like, we should fix the racing and keep the track. And
where was this when we were talking about Portland?
I think I can fix the track there. You get a problem. Yeah, that turn one's silly. Nobody liked it. I got roasted for that take. I think if they figure out how to make the racing, I think if we're right, we had a really good Daytona, right? If we can get that style of racing at Talladega, at Daytona, then I'm all for it being part of the equation of how we figure out how we determine our champion.
TJ, what do you think?
I don't think it matters what round it's in. Like he said, if it's the final round, you still got to go through it to get there.
Yeah.
Whether it's the final round, but it would kind of, like to Travis's point, if you do get caught up in something that's just not your doing in the final round and it kind of ruins your championship chase or something with 3 races, whatever it is, that would, but I mean, it could also knock you out the previous round as well.
I know.
So it's really no different.
And whatever happens at Daytona or Talladega earlier in the season can be detrimental to your success late in the year. I don't know that. What are we doing if we're insulating ourselves from tough moments and tough things and challenging things about our sport, right? Are we? It's a bit soft, I think, to say, oh man, let's not put the plate race in there and let's not put Talladega in there in the final round because of the unpredictability and a driver being eliminated by a crash that he had nothing to do.
But I like it because it puts that thing I talked to you earlier about in the show, being smart. You don't have to necessarily go win, but if you run a smart race all day, that's what you need to do.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this too, and if they moved it out of the round, I'm indifferent. I really am.
Okay.
I'm not insisting it be there. If they don't change the schedule and it's one of the 4, I'll support it. It's perfectly fine with me. But if they do say, it's too wild, it's too crazy, we're going to, it won't be in the final, I'm not going to pound the table and demand that, they put it back. It is what it is. But I don't have a problem with it if they do go to a 3-3-4. Talladega is one of the final races. I'm all about it.
Yeah, I'm fine
with it. Let's go for it. Yeah, let's go see who can get through there and make it happen.
That's fair. It'll be interesting to see, certainly, what this format ends up being, and if that.
I don't have a strong opinion about it
either way.
But
damn it, stand on the table.
Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion about it. I've got other battles.
Fair enough.
That are more important.
On a lighter-hearted side, this one's from Brian. You do when you were with TNT and Amazon, you were doing some ride-alongs for Bleacher Report. Who's the coolest celebrity you got to take around in a pace car, and do you have anyone you would like to, like anyone on that list that you would like to take around the racetrack?
Now all the rides were great. Just getting to meet people that that typically might not know much about NASCAR, being able to take them out on the racetrack and give them that perspective is a lot of fun because a lot of times you have people come to the race and they're just a witness to the event itself. You hope they have a great time, and they want to come back. But to be able to put them in the seat of a car and take them around the racetrack and have a conversation, right? And also be curious about their sport.
Yeah.
Malik Neighbors was a receiver for the Giants and plays against my favorite team. And he's best friends with our quarterback, Jaden Daniels. So I had a ton of things that I was curious about that I was hopeful to get to talk to him about, and I did. So it's pretty fun for me.
Like athletes to me would be fun because it's
Yeah.
for them to not know your world and go see it.
Yeah, and getting their reaction, and then they're sometimes you'll take people out there and you don't know if they're wowed or you don't know really what they're thinking, and you learn all that later, like weeks later. Oh man, he got out, because we go on and we go do something else. I got another thing I got to get to, or they're shuffled off to do something else, and then you'll hear from somebody like that works with Bleacher Report that was tagging along with them.
Yeah.
Man, you should have heard him afterwards. He was saying this and that and the other, and he was amazed by this, and he couldn't believe this. And you're like, man, that's kind of the payoff, I think, at the end.
I always like when you see the person like they're taking it a little easy, and then all of a sudden, all right, we're stepping on the gas and going to give them the full experience, and they're not ready for it.
Yeah, we ripped around Atlanta in the Corvette. We had a little Corvette, but yeah.
Have you ever given TJ a ride?
I've rode somewhere a long time ago.
Where? I'm sure you did, but I forget. Was it Charlotte?
Might have been Atlanta or Charlotte.
Atlanta or Charlotte?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
To put TJ right next
Was
to the
that
wall.
when you guys were working together?
It would have been before that, I think.
Interesting.
This has been 04, 05-ish probably.
Yeah. There's been a handful of times we used to do ride-alongs for the foundation. So I'd do about 14 or 15 ride-alongs. We'd go to Bristol or Charlotte or somewhere. And all of these people had, paid for this or had been gifted this opportunity through a raffle or what have you. And at the end of those rides, I would always give like 3 or 4 to people that were there, like my wife or Latard or TJ or somebody. So, you try to plug them in there for a couple laps before we finish up.
I'd be curious, like, if TJ, like, for you, riding along would help you at all on the spotter stand. Like, does that give you an extra understanding of what a driver's going through, what they need?
I don't think it changed anything.
He's
It's
drove
just a
race
thrill
cars.
ride. Yeah, that's true. That is
it didn't
true.
really
TJ's
change
drove
anything.
race cars. His perspective behind the wheel of a race car from a race in a 3-stock race at Charlotte's or Concord's
it's
going to
come into play.
more.
I think remember David Pittman, whenever you gave him a ride down at Charlotte, he's going down the backstretch, smiling, arm up, everything. You get to the corner, run the wall, and he's like, the smile goes when he goes. He pulls his arm and puts it inside the seat. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
We asked the YouTube chat, who would you like to see you give a ride along to next? I'm seeing Steven Wilson Jr., some MMA fighters. So
Really?
those would be
Yeah.
two cool people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I always like when you have a big athlete trying to fit in the car too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
Well, they did build that car for Shaq that one time.
I was gonna say
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
he's got to move the seat
Climbing
all the way
through the
back.
roof.
Yeah. It's an illegal pace car if he's climbing in and out of the roof. This next question is coming from JP. We've seen some pit crew mistakes lately with Bowman's team and other kind of important stops in the playoffs. Have you ever had a conversation with your pit crew about a good or bad performance after a race?
Yeah.
And what do those conversations look like?
I have never gotten with the crew after a race to critique the job they did. There's a couple times when I've said things on the radio after a stop that I probably shouldn't have said.
Yeah.
But then there's times when you'll have a great stop and it's all them. You know that it's something they did and they themselves. It's nice. Like, so is, you're the driver out there in the race car and you're always the one sort of either winning or losing the day. Mm-hmm. Right. And every now and then there's these moments during a pit stop where the pressure's on someone else entirely. Mm-hmm. Right. And when they get you a couple spots or you beat everybody out on pit road, you're like, hell yeah. Because you're in there, you feel like, and drivers are always this way, but you feel like you're on an island out there doing all this work and nobody really understands how hard it is and really appreciates just how difficult what you're doing is. And it's nice when the team is in a compliment to the day. But then you'll lose a couple spots or have something happen. And
you went from wanting to hit guys with hammers to telling them brush it off. We'll get them on the next one in your career.
We kept loose. We had a couple loose wheels, and I was dealing with some head injury stuff, and we were at Atlanta.
Yeah, I was spotting for you the last one.
This one where me and McMurray went up into the fence.
You wrecked and hit the wall off of 2. Was it in? Yeah,
in the Bud car.
Yeah, I did the last 10 races in the Bud car.
I don't remember that. Probably because of this wreck.
Yeah.
So this was one of the worst. But we're at Atlanta. Caution comes out. There's going to be a little 4-lap, 3-lap back, run to the finish. On the pace laps, I can feel the wheel rocking back and forth on the studs.
Yeah, click.
It is loose. It is loose, like loose as it can be, without falling off the car. But we're going 40 mile an hour, right, under pace.
Oh boy.
And I'm talking to them like, do we pit? What do you want me to do? This freaking thing feels loose. And they're kind of like, hey man, kind of up to you. I'm like, man, if we pit, the thing is, it's like they may be able to look at the wheel and say, yes, it was loose. They may look at the wheel and go, we don't see anything. And then they're taking your word for it. And you've came down pit road and went from 4th or 6th to 25th, and that's where you're going to finish because it's going to be a green-white checker.
Mm-hmm.
And so are you willing to come down pit road and give up all that track position, or are you going to be able to stay in the car and hope that it don't come off? And so I decided to stay out there. I mean, I can feel this thing rocking back and forth. I can feel it sitting here right now. And it was absolutely, I should have absolutely come down pit road. We get the green flag, we start accelerating, and we go off into turn 1, and as soon as I land, it shoots out from the left rear. The wheel just takes off. And I spin around and take McMurray, and me and him just kill the fence, right? And it hurt. And so, I was mad about that. And so, we would have wheels that would be so fast. So that happens, right? And maybe that there was another loose wheel or two that came off and we crashed really hard. We get 4 or 5 years down the road into this new era of NASCAR where they're only putting 4 lugs on the left side. They're only doing 4 on the right side.
Right. Yes.
We're like intentionally not even hitting the 5th lug at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you
At
could have
all.
one. You could be
about
missing
that.
one legally.
Yeah, you can miss one legally, and it was a whole second faster on the pit stop if they just skipped the 5th lug entirely. They didn't even try to hit it. And I'm like, man, what are we doing? And now loose wheels are much more common. And I'm like, I can't hit walls. I can't. I'm like, I know my days are numbered with my head and all the injuries I had over the years. And I'm like, I can't be taking this kind of risk. And so, I told him, I said, if I have a wheel come off and I hit the damn wall, I'm going to take a hammer to all of y'all and show you how it feels. And, that was a pretty stupid thing to say over the radio. But I was saying it as like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? But, yeah. So you'll say stuff like that over the radio. Instantly that you didn't need to say it. You shouldn't have said it. It needs to be a conversation you have later somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because it comes back. Like we were at Sonoma racing, and all the guys on this team in the Bud car are their family. Tony Jr. is my cousin. Two Beer is married to his at the time Tony Jr. was married to Two Beer's sister. So I mean we all have known each other forever, and we've raced together, and we're very close. And so you'll say to your friends that you're very close to that you shouldn't say or would never say to other people. You'll get in arguments and you'll say things and you'll be like, I can only say that to you. I would never say that to my other friend that's just a friend from work or whatever, right? And So Two Beer apparently broke his finger or something on one of the pit stops. Jack Mann, somebody, it was him or somebody.
I think it was him.
We're out there grinding through a freaking 13th place finish or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're grinding through a frustrating, miserable day because I don't know how to get around this damn racetrack. And I said we lost some spots or something, and I'm like, or I was talking to Tony Jr. about something. He wasn't answering. I'm like, what the hell's going on? He's like, well, we got a guy broke his finger. I was like, who? He goes, Two Beer. I was like, tell him to walk it off.
Yeah.
Joking. I knew he'd be fine. But everybody hears that and goes, wow, what an
right.
But
you never, after a bad race where they had bad pit stops, talk to him afterwards or anything?
No. I mean, I wasn't. I didn't get upset about it. I
find that interesting. That I feel like that's common for you drivers that you don't go talk to him. Which I don't. I feel like
so the over the wall guys are. They are. So here's how it is. Here's why you wouldn't do that. The guy on the right front of your car is one of the best guys in the garage, and 9 out of 10 times he's going to be the best guy on pit road, and he's getting a call every other week to come work for this other team. And so, are you going to go up to him after the race and critique the job he did that day, or be or put pressure on him, or because he can just as easily say, I don't got to put up with this shit. I'll go over here and make a little bit more money. I'm here because of you. But if you're going to, get my ass after every bad stop, I'll just go ahead and take this job that they've been begging me to come do for 6 months, and I'll go over there and go do it over there. They value me. They want me. And it's gonna make a difference in my quality of life because it's a big race or whatever, right? So I mean that back when I was racing, man, you were trying to keep all your guys, and you had real friendships with them, like my Jack man, my gas man. You're hanging out with these people. They're your friends. They're your buddies.
Plus, they're athletes too. They know when they mess up.
Yeah,
and they don't need.
There's a coach.
Exactly
there's a coach and a crew chief to handle that. I didn't have to do it. Like if it was a serious issue, my Tony Jr. or Tony Sr. or somebody else was going to handle it.
Well, I look at it as quarterback talking to his offensive lineman. I'm not saying you're going to just berate them and but just especially nowadays, because to TJ's point, you've got former football players and wrestlers and it's a performance based. They're athletes.
Yeah,
they know how to handle it.
I always thought I was very lucky. I wasn't really. I'll be honest, man. I was more interested in being friends with these guys and us being us having each other's back because
being a team.
Well, I always felt like that. If you could build a friendship, then they were going to try to do their best.
They're invested.
Yep. When you come down pit road and they're indifferent, and they're like, that guy behind the wheel don't give a shit if I'm here or somebody else is here. He doesn't. He's not reached out to me. He doesn't know what's going on in my life. He doesn't care to get to know me. Do they really fight for you?
Yeah.
What's their motivation, right? And so I always wanted to try to make sure, we had camaraderie. Everybody felt like it was all level. And if they were excited about you and trying to help you, they were gonna try to be the best on pit road every stop. And so, yeah.
One follow-up question, just because we were having this conversation just yesterday. You were talking about debating whether to come in or not for that loose wheel, right? Like that internal battle of it could stick. I think it's going to work. This past week, Josh Berry and Austin Cindric both had individual fires. Berry got out, but Cindric was just sitting in the car while it was on fire and ended up staying and driving away. How do you evaluate, at least from a race car driver's perspective, being on fire and all right, now it's time to get out, or it might go out, I can keep going?
Well, I've been in a car that was on fire, and so I was in the Corvette wreck in 2004. I was sitting in there, and the entire interior of the car and everything around me, my whole body, inside of my helmet, everything was fire. And the intensity of the heat is, once you've experienced that and you kind of know how quickly that can injure you physically,
Yeah,
you're like,
you're out.
I'm getting out. And so we were at Bristol, and we caught the floorboard on fire in my car.
Right.
And I'm thinking, all right, dude, it's burning my leg already. Feels like a crab down there pinching on me. And while you're while adrenaline's going, you could mismanage that, and that could get really bad quickly. And as soon as you stop the car, does the fire get bigger? While the car's moving, that kind of tempers the flame a little bit. But as soon as you stop, how bad's this thing going to get? You'll always. That happened at Bristol. I got out as fast as I could because I didn't want to mess with no fire. But you do have thoughts afterwards, like, man, should I have tried to stay in? Should we have, maybe diagnosed the problem and taped up the wire and went back out and finished the race? I don't know. I kind of wish it would. You're always going to have that feeling in the back of your mind when you think about that race. Man, I wish that would have went different. Or gosh, if only that hadn't happened. Right? We said, even leading up to this week, I'm not even running this race, and all the guys in the garage or in this building. You go up to them and they're like, "Man, you had it won. Man, if only that thing wouldn't have caught fire." So I mean, we still deal with that regret, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I watched the race. Josh's car had a ton of smoke in it.
It was worse.
It looked much worse.
Yeah, it was way worse.
Neither one of them are great experiences. No. How much can you breathe? Can you breathe? What kind of is breathing in all of that smoke going to give you some sort of a long-term issue that's going to have to, get taken care of?
I think Josh had to get out.
Yeah. I don't blame Josh for getting out.
I don't
blame Austin for sticking it out. And I don't know that I have a change of opinion in either driver. I hate it happened to Josh, but it's just kind of a freak deal. I would not want to mess with. I experienced that fire, and if I'm in a race car and there's any kind of an issue that's where there's a fire, there's a danger, I'm freaking getting out of there.
I think I'm with you.
It sucks.
I'm not dealing with fire.
I think the moral of this Ash Junior is race car drivers are tough SOBs.
The fire, the injury from fire takes so long to heal.
Oh yeah,
so long, and so. That's the other thing. Like, if you get a bad burn, that's months of discomfort and changing bandages and, scraping off all that. It's just a awful, awful experience. People have no clue how bad 2004 was.
People are talking about that in the YouTube chat, and I think a lot of people agree that fire scares them, and it probably makes sense that it scares a lot of people. But that's a good place to wrap this Ash Junior.
Yeah, for sure. Thankful for Xfinity for the support here at Dirty Mo Media in the Ash Junior segment of the show. In racing and in life, speed isn't optional; it's expected. As a driver in the Xfinity Series, as a team owner in the Xfinity Series, I rely on things that perform under pressure, and that's why I go with Xfinity Wi-Fi, fast, dependable internet. One price locked in for 5 years. No contract, no slowdowns, and no nonsense. Xfinity, proud premier partner of NASCAR. All right, here we are. It's time for Dirty Mo Dough. This segment of Dirty Mo Dough is brought to you by FanDuel. We got Tampa Tim's, Russell, Travis, TJ, everybody here to talk about some parlays. And anyways, the parlay that I had for Bristol all missed. Hamlin, Larson, Blaney. Did anybody get close? Nobody? I only see mine on the page, so y'all must have been pretty far off too. And you just didn't even want to bring attention to yourselves.
I don't remember what I did.
Host of ours was the best Chevy in 7th. So,
tough night for Chevy. I did have one bet pay out that was really cool. I was down in Key West hanging out with a friend of mine and my wife, Amy. And so put a little money on some college games, this, that, and other, just to have something to kind of pull for throughout the day. And I had one unit that damn, I mean, it won $100.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a good,
I
good
mean,
payout.
Yeah.
That's a good weekend. Then.
And my buddy's like, boy, we should have bet more. I'm like, well,
No.
yeah, you would think that all the time on the wins.
Yeah,
You had-
of course.
Yeah, that's my.
You
I'm-
had Texas Tech, Georgia, Arkansas State, Miami, and LSU, and some of those were the spread.
Yeah, and so I basically just pulled that off of some social media guy that I follow, and he put that parlay together. I'm like, I'll do this, but so
Did
look,
any of you bet my bet I gave?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I
What'd
probably
you miss?
I can go look at it. I mean, it was. I had the Stroud and Baker Mayfield alternate yardage, passing yardage, but I picked Texas to win, and the money line failed. That was one of my bets.
Yeah, Texans are struggling.
Yeah, they looked all right. I lost my fantasy football game too. I'm 0-2. Jeez. Ugh, it's been a rough run here. But so I say all that to let people know, like, you know, getting into FanDuel and creating an account, you know, if you manage your habits, don't chase losses. Like I lost my 3 bets, and that's my 3 bets. That's my day. Wasn't a good day. I closed the book, and I'll get it out again tomorrow or 4 weeks down the road. Who knows? But if I enjoy it because it makes if you're hanging out with your friends and hanging out at a bar or something, it kind of makes what you're watching on TV even more fun. Mm-hmm.
It does. Adds another element to it.
Yeah. So I would probably hate betting on racing though, because we've done this parlay, and man, we can't hit it.
No.
Tim's, how's it going for you?
Honestly, I have been less active in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's a little different. You have to kind of treat it like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Because the playoffs, we've seen it. Pit crews, they're high. It's high pressure. A lot of more mistakes. Bristol, I don't know how anybody went in there knowing that race was going to be, because it was one thing in practice, another thing in the race.
I
Just
wonder.
lay off.
So the parlay's been tough.
Yeah.
To nail. And I would probably, if I were actually betting this, I'd probably like change my habits and move away from the parlay.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think, do they offer basically kind of an over-under finishing position?
Not every week. I've only seen it a handful of times this week. Last year, it was almost every week, but not as much.
That to me sounds like, all right, I might be able to determine, like, is Chase Briscoe going to be 8th or better? Or worse, right? Is it if his line's 8.5? You go, I think he'll finish better than that or worse than that. That to me sounds like a more gambling and betting in motorsports isn't new, but like for sports books it is.
Yeah.
And what they offer, I think, is this. They're still in the learning phase of right what really is good for the player, but also good for the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the sports book.
They have to. I guess they didn't see a lot of like people betting on those to bring it back.
Really,
but I bet them every week. They were like you said. I thought they were easier to figure that out. Plus, if it was close, you could just hedge it and bet them top 10.
It's like roulette, where I feel like I almost got a little fighting chance.
Yeah,
at making the correct choice between A or B.
Well, they still do head-to-heads.
Yeah,
we got some head-to-head featured matchups to talk about today.
Sweet.
This week's favorites going into the Loudon race is no surprise. Bell's at 350, and then Hamlin at plus 650, and then Briscoe at plus 700. I mention all the JGR guys because I feel like that this is a very strong track for Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota. Larson's also at plus 650. Ugh. I mean,
back away.
I would back away. Yeah. Why did the books not give you better odds on that?
He's one of the guys that like they're just not going to get beat. Because if you see Kyle Larson at plus 1,000, it doesn't matter the track. You're betting that. So they're just going to hedge themselves and say, I dare you to take 650. And honestly, they probably get a lot of action on like some casual people that don't really watch the sport like that. Know. Kyle Larson, I'll take that.
It's the same thing as like when Tiger Woods was golfing. Like you're going to have him as a favorite just because they don't want to be at risk.
Yeah. Blaney's at plus 700. Logano is on our sheet.
That's surprising.
Plus 750. Yeah.
I'm surprised. Russ, what does the predictor say about Logano here?
I have him 6th, and I really like him this week. He tested there too, so
He did.
No, that's good.
He did test there. Jeff Burton on the Lord Bumper Clear said he was really fast in the test, and I just think that this is what he does.
Yeah. How is it just a crapshoot? If you're fast at the test, you'll show up fast, or is there really something to that?
Oh, testing is always helpful.
Yeah.
You kind of, whether it's a tire test, you don't get to work. It's not like the testing used to be back in the day but tire test, you get a little bit of time, but it just helps you unload faster. You kind of know what direction to go when you come back.
Can you bet the winning manufacturer?
Yeah.
So that's where I'd feel more comfortable betting the winning manufacturer than trying to put together the parlay, because I think Toyota's going to get it done. They just and I wonder what the numbers are on that, but I guess the lines maybe aren't out.
Not out yet.
Not out yet, but yeah.
We have some featured matchups.
Well, hold on, Russ. What's your model say compared to Vegas?
Bell is the overwhelming favorite for sure, and then Denny again, and then I have Blaney, then Larson. Briscoe's the one that's a little off just because he's new to Gibbs, and it takes a lot of New Hampshire into it. So even though he's been decent at New Hampshire, he's 8th, but I still think that's high. The other guy that's kind of in there that is really good on these tracks is Josh Berry. He's higher than he normally would be. So
Really?
if you're looking for like a top,
Wouldn't that be the most NASCAR thing ever for Josh Berry to finish last in the
Then
3
win.
races in the first round and go win?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's gonna win. I'm just saying he's higher up.
I'm here. I know. Y'all remember there was not a fluke, but a bit of a underdog win not too many years ago with Eric Almirola.
Yeah, dominate that race.
Yeah.
Do you feel, what about, my sleeper here might be Priest.
That's a good point. Yeah. This is his place.
He ran well there last year.
Yeah.
And I know it was the rain race or whatever, but I feel like he's got a lot of laps around this track. He kind of goes there with a little bit of an edge as well. Home track kind of in that area.
Yeah.
Russell, could you give me 3 drivers in the vein of that, Priest or Berry or even Keselowski? Give me 3 guys I can put in a parlay for top 10s that's going to give me good odds.
I would look at Berry, Busher, and Keselowski if you're looking at that. If I
Okay.
can't pick like a playoff guy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay.
And don't parlay those people. Bet them individually.
Okay. I like your advice. Because, you're basically saying there's 3 guys that got to finish in 3 of 10 positions, and the odds of that really happening are pretty low.
Parlays are fun for like football and basketball where they're individual games. When they're all together to hit those, that's really tough. And most likely you're going to get plus odds anyways.
Yeah.
So you're not like, basketball, you got heavy juice to make it plus money.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that here.
All right.
Russell, I got a question for you. As we get deeper into the playoffs here, do the guys that are chasing the points pretty heavy there in the back, like Logano, does that give opportunity for some of the guys like the Priest, the Busher, the Brad, all these guys? Does that give them more opportunity to take advantage of them taking stage points and going for wins more? Does the underdog have a little bit more of a chance here?
I would
as
say
a
they
trend
have
in the playoffs.
more of a chance because of mistakes. There's just so much pressure. We see so many more mistakes in the playoffs than we do during the regular season. So I think that's where their chances for those guys to finish top 10 really comes in.
And Loudon being an odd number, it's a weird race sometimes with the length of it. It's a fairly short race at times.
Yeah.
So,
Well, let's we'll do the parlay at the end of the segment, but let's get to the featured matchups. There are 4 featured matchups that we're going to discuss, and I feel like these are pretty straightforward. Bell versus Larson, I would take Bell. Briscoe versus Elliott, I would take Briscoe.
Yes.
And then Logano and Chastain and Blaney and Bubba, and I would take both Penske drivers just due to the fact that Logano did test there.
Yeah.
And I believe that gives them the competitive edge going into the race.
I agree. I think Blaney is a solid back half top 10 guy.
I was kind of surprised at the matchups.
Yeah, they seem like blowouts.
A little more one-sided, I suppose. No disrespect to the other drivers. All right, so our parlay for this weekend, I'm going to put Logano as the top forward. I just got a feeling that he's going to do what he does in the playoffs, and having tested there, and I just feel like that they're loaded up and ready to rock.
I can't go that way because I feel like he's going to chase stage points all day. And I think he's going to be really solid with the points at the end of the day, but I think it hurts his overall finish at the end maybe because he chased so many stage points in the first 2 stages.
You think he gives up the track position in stage 3 for the stage points, huh?
I think
and
he
that's
takes
cost him
yes.
Yep.
I think
Who's your top 4 then?
I'm going to go honestly, I feel like Priest is going to run really good.
Yeah.
I have to agree with TJ. I'm going Priest for top Ford.
Also, before Chastain was another driver that was that tested at New Hampshire.
Okay.
Just giving that out there to you.
Good info. I like what you're saying there about Priest because you're right. Like Logano is going to have to do particular things here that may cost him a spot or two or a position at least on another manufacturer. Priest doesn't need stage points. He doesn't care. He's going to do whatever he needs to do for the track position late in the race, and that's exactly how this race always shakes out. Me and TJ were talking about it earlier. You'll run 4th all day long thinking, man, I'm motoring to a top 5, and then come down pit road with 80 laps to go get tires, and a bunch of guys are going to stay out or not get tires or leapfrog you on pit road and try to, they ran 20th all day, and then they're going to try to, luck out a top 10 or a top 8 finish, and everybody gets to beating the shit out of each other late in the race. And, the guys that were running the top 5, might end up with 12th, 11th, 10th, 8th place finishes. That could happen to Joey.
Joey's still going to have a strong point day, in my opinion.
Yeah. But maybe there's 1 or 2 Fords in front of him when it's all said and done, and you think it's going to be Priest.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna stick with Logano, but I don't hate the idea you got there. On the Chevrolet front, again, tough.
This has been a different guy the last 9 weeks.
Yeah, Chevrolet is
That's wild.
in a state of confusion for me.
Yeah, who's going to
help, Russell, help us.
Well, like Byron's never had a top 10 there. So I just don't know where to go with this. Honestly.
But if you finish top 10, would you be surprised?
But
I wouldn't be.
No, I wouldn't be. But like Larson was top 5 there the last 2. I think you can't he's gonna do it at some point, right? Like it's got to be him at some point. So I stick with Larson.
What Chevrolet was good at St. Louis?
I mean, Larson was really fast until he had an issue there.
So I mean, could you lean on St. Louis a little bit to help you make a decision, make a some sort of educated decision?
I mean,
I think so.
I think you can. And Larson was fast there. He tested there.
Are you going Larson there?
I
TJ?
can go Larson.
All right,
I can go Larson at
Me and
Loudon.
TJ, I'll go with you.
I can't trust Hendrick. I'm going off the wall. I'm going Kyle Busch.
Jesus Christ.
If it's been different, Kyle's got to show up and be different again.
This is your segment. You're going to say that?
I mean, it's Kyle Busch. That's
All
my
right.
pick.
His teammates won before him.
Oh, trust me, I know.
But do you know Kyle Busch's numbers there recently?
I don't care. It's gonna be. It's a
Now
weird.
tell us. We got to
It's a
know.
weird week. It's gonna be Kyle Busch.
He's been 35th or worse in 4 of the last 5 there.
That means he's due, Russ. He's due.
There you go.
He's due for a top 20, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Gut one out and finish 18th.
I'm going high odds on mine.
All right.
This week.
Okay. You feeling okay?
Hey, I will say, I mean, there was a time. I don't know what it's like these days, but there was a time where we compared Richmond and to, we kind of Richmond and New Hampshire. We might compare some information notes and
Really?
run similar. If you kind of.
Yeah.
I appreciate you searching to find some.
I'm trying to figure out how this can
Yeah.
work out for you.
I appreciate
And
it.
RCR had some speed
Tire?
at Richmond.
What's that?
This is the same tire, right?
At Richmond?
Yeah. Well, at least one side of it is, I think. I think it is the whole thing. Yeah.
That's always important to factor in to your decision.
I knew that. So.
Maybe I changed Larson with Austin Dillon for my
Oh.
best. No, I'm just kidding.
About to say.
No.
I'm
Shout
not
out to
doing
Austin Dillon.
Yeah.
All right, so the best Toyota is a real toss-up for me. Denny is so good here. Christopher's good here. I really want to say Briscoe goes out there and gets it done because I just like the story. And but that's probably not the best choice, and is going with your heart. You got to go with your mind, what the data, what the points are telling you. So I think we're going to have to say Christopher Bell doubles up, back-to-back wins.
I'm not going Bell.
What do you think? What do you think,
Briscoe.
I don't know. You think about how good the 19's been here in the past too.
That's what I'm looking at. And Chase is adapting. He's found something with it.
And he's been good here. With
all right, I'll take Briscoe. Everybody's taking Briscoe.
Everywhere we said, well, the 19 runs good here. Can Chase do it?
I didn't want to bet with my emotion, but y'all are making the numbers.
You can blame
sound
Russ
good.
now. So
yeah, no, I've got emotion and data to back up.
Has Chase not stepped up when we've called him out a little bit, Russ?
Totally. He's been so impressive.
Yeah.
And this is a race where James Small could get a little, pull some strategies out and put him in the front. And when you put Chase in front, it's going to be hard to get around him in that 19 car.
All right. I got Logano, Larson, Briscoe. TJ's at Briscoe, Larson, Priest.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of y'all.
I got Priest, Bush, and Briscoe.
Okay.
Maybe just put $1 on that one. Not the full unit.
Travis, you got any?
We will go Larson, Blaney, Hamlin.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't see that coming.
Denny bro.
Russell, you want to pick 3?
I'm the same as you, Dale.
Okay. Hey, I like it. All right. Well, that'll do it for Dirty Modo. This segment was brought to you by FanDuel, the premier gaming destination in the United States. Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Timms.
Thank you.
All right, it's time for the white flag, the teardown with Jordan Bianchi and Jeff Gluck. Was live on YouTube and Twitter following the race. If you haven't already done it, you need to head over to the Dirty Mo Media's YouTube page, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications so that you don't miss anything that we're posting over there. Actions Detrimental dropped on Monday after a race like we had on Saturday night. It's always nice to hear from a driver, and Denny does such a great job of giving us pretty non-biased opinion. He kind of takes off his driver hat and just kind of gives you a good
It's very honest.
perspective. Yeah, very honest. We're very appreciative. Door Bumper Clear also dropped on Monday. They were joined by Jeff Burton. Jeff Burton gave us his opinion on a lot of different things going on in the sport.
The mayor.
Yeah, the mayor. And on Wednesday, the guest show, I've got 2 guests coming in for a huge announcement you're not going to want to miss. Herman Schrader and Speed Street have their episodes dropping on Wednesday. Thursday, another episode of Bless Your Heart with my wife, Amy. And on Friday, the Dirty 30 comes out, a new 30-minute recap show. Everyone doesn't have time to listen to all the podcasts, so we put it in a 30-minute highlight reel for you every Friday called the Dirty 30. We'll see you.